Welcome to another episode of the HopCast.
Oh, who knew we'd do another one? But we're back, and this one's extra special because it's an integration.
Right, so first off, I'm Brad Chmielewski.
My name is Ken Honemeter.
And I'm Sean Horton.
Alright.
Where are you from, man?
I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota, and I also do a beer podcast up there called the Beer Genome Project. Great guys. They brought me down and had me come on board.
Yeah, so this is a HopCast first, for sure. That like we've never integrated with another beer podcast co-host before, or host, or however you want to say it.
Podcaster in general.
It's a coast.
It's a coast.
So Sean and Mike do a great podcast. If you want to plug it, the Beer Genome Project.
Yeah, run out at the web at beergenome.me, the Beer Genome Project. We're on Twitter, so we have also linked to these folks here. So for my followers, keep up with these guys here in Chicago.
We're doing
Twitter it up.
We're doing awesome stuff.
So we basically pulled out all the stops for this one, because we've got a very special guest, and we also have two very special beers.
Right, now we've done Darkness and Dark Lord, so we're going to some other.
Been there.
Been there, done that. Who needs to drink those again?
Let's get some better stuff.
So the much heralded Old Rasputin 12.
Right, recently came out, probably like a month, maybe 2 months now that this is airing.
Right.
Like sometime in, what are we, August?
We're in August.
Sometime
early summer.
Yeah.
But it's from North Coast. Most of you will probably be familiar with the North Coast Old Rasputin.
I know Maeve is.
Maeve is all too familiar.
Yeah.
Shut up!
They've got the Prankster as well, I think, right?
Yeah, the Prankster is one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best Belgian-style American beers out there. I like it a lot. But they do a lot of solid stuff out there at North Coast. So that's one of the beers we're going to be featuring. Also, we got the Schlafly.
Yes, and we've had the coffee stout on the previous episode. It's amazing.
Yeah, and this bottle comes courtesy of Jane Kim.
Shut up!
And also this apartment comes
Thanks,
courtesy
Jane.
of Jane
Thank
Kim.
you,
These glasses, this chair.
To you. Thanks, Jane.
And we will all be sleeping over there, courtesy of Jane Kim. No. But so we have also the Russian Imperial Stout from Schlafly, aged in bourbon barrels as well.
So are these both aged in barrels here, or what?
Both of them, yeah.
Both, yeah.
Correct?
Are they both bourbon? Yeah. Not oak.
Oh,
I
wow.
know. I know they have a oak-aged barley wine that comes out at the same time with the Russian Imperial. So
that's the one that we sampled at Dark Lord a couple years back, correct? From those fine folks that gave us a little sample there.
Oh yeah, the ones behind us there.
Another reason to go to Dark Lord. Everyone shares everything, so it's great. But without further ado,
what do we want to start with?
Well, how about we let the guest decide?
Well, I've never had any Schlafly beers. I've had the Old Rasputin, the original Rasputin, but I guess we could start with the Schlafly. How's that?
Okay.
Yeah, and the Schlafly comes in at 10.5, and the Old Rasputin comes in at 11.2, so working our way up.
All right, that makes sense. So let's bust this bad boy open, give it a pour, give it a look, give it a smell, give it a taste.
So that poured out dark.
That's pretty much opaque.
Yeah, pretty damn dark.
I guess kind of thin though, like lighter body.
For a beer of this body, definitely. It's not as viscous as like the Mephistopheles or even the Darkness. I've never had the Dark Lord, but for me,
much along the same lines.
The aroma smells potent, but the viscosity here seems very thin for a beer of this body.
Almost root beer-esque.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
If you noticed in the pour, it has more of like, when it pours out here, it's pretty damn dark, but like it was almost like the thin brown as
the warm maple syrup.
Corn. Yeah. So. And the aroma is just knocking us over, really, because like even before we even put it up to our nose as we're pouring, you can smell it.
Oh, definitely.
Wafting in.
But it's beautiful bourbon.
It's not overpowering though. It's the beautiful bourbon that's very, very well done.
Yeah.
It's
I feel like it's like a nicely balanced bourbon beer
It has some nice
where it's not overpowered.
vanilla in there too, like
For sure.
for the sweetness. It's good. It's got like that cartoon smell that's like smell hot dogs in it.
Well, I think enough talk, enough smell. Let's jump on in because the anticipation is killing me.
I think it's very smooth in the tongue. It rolls to the back a little bit. It's not too warm for a beer of 10, 11%. It's very, very palatable for a beer that's this strong. It doesn't taste warm in the tongue at all.
And it fills the mouth. It's just like the whole thing's coated, but not like a heavy. It's really light.
I'm getting a lot more smoky on the mouth than the aroma, I think.
Yeah, see, I feel like it's much like you were talking about with the pour, and visually looking at the beer, it's very like a light bodied beer.
Definitely.
For the style, and especially like if you're putting it out of your mind and if you're tasting it, you're like, wow, this should be much thicker.
This is not a Russian Imperial Stout. The body wise, I mean, the aroma, the appearance, nail the style, but the body, not at all. It's very deceptive.
Like it smells sweet in the aroma, and it still comes out sweet in the mouth. Like feels like I just ate like a piece of chocolate. I guess my teeth hurt, like I got cavities.
I can see that. I mean, it tastes kind of like a Belgian candy sugar in the beer itself. Very rich sugar. It's not kind of artificially palated there.
No, it's very much an authentic flavor. There's nothing artificial about it at all. It's just like a very nicely done beer that I feel. I mean, it certainly should be savored. That's for sure.
Oh, and a 10.5.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be.
I mean, party over there.
So, do we know how long before they bottled this and sent it to us that it was actually in the barrels? Does it say at all? Do we know anything about that?
I don't know
Let
about.
me get back to you on that, Sean.
Yeah.
I know the old Rasputin's 1 year.
So around that 8 months to a year range.
Yeah, because they're releasing one every year, like the 09.
I would assume it's a year. It doesn't say specifically on here.
But this is actually which vintage is this year?
This is the 08.
Okay.
I believe they come out in October,
So this was
or at least the next one.
so barrel aged and then additionally bottle fermented as well. So we've got kind of tertiary fermentation.
Slightly, yeah.
Nice. That's a beautiful beer. I'm very impressed. So these guys not found here typically in Illinois?
No, you can't get them here in Chicago. So that's why it was such a treat for Jane to bring this back from St. Louis for us. Also in cahoots, got to give it out to the Funk.
Shout out!
Shout out to the Funk for bringing it.
And all of Schlafly's beers are usually pretty solid. I think there was one that was kind of iffy, but
I've never had one I didn't enjoy. That
coffee is. I love it. I still dream about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Breakfast.
Wake up.
So delicious.
Schlafly coffee.
God, like I'm sick of hearing about it from Brad. I'm trying to fall asleep and he's still talking about the coffee. I'm like,
That's
Brad,
all
just go to sleep.
It's okay.
You guys sleep together?
Sometimes that happens, huh?
So much for the two beer queers.
Now, as Brian, Inspector 71 knows, stouts and cigars.
For sure. We wanted to kind of do this one from the roof, but there was going to be a lighting issue. It's kind of night out right now, and it's a party going on upstairs. Also an audio issue, but we would totally have a nice stove with this one for sure.
So any cigar you recommend, or just kind of a nice?
Well, Ashtons are pretty easy to get, pretty common. They're solid cigars.
You know what would be really good with this one? Sorry, I hate to do this. I don't hate to do this at all.
Yeah.
I recommend the the Oliva Series V would be really good with this because it kind of tastes sweet and spicy. It's kind of it's a beer that would be good with something chocolatey and roasty, or it's a cigar that would be good with something that's chocolatey and roasty. I think that would be awesome. The Oliva Series V. I think that would be
Yeah, I think
fucking
it's
sweet cigar with this beer.
hard to find a
It's nice
cigar.
to have Charlie in your back pocket for these
Thanks,
situations.
Like, most good cigars just go complement the sweetness of a stout pretty nicely. If you're going with your like cherry Swisher Sweets, then maybe not.
Maybe not.
Give me my backwoods. I'm not too far along in my cigar schooling, so I need to take some lessons from Charlie's cigar cast. I've schooled him on the beers, and he can
help us
return
with
the favor.
cigars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Overall, I don't know if we're moving to the next beer.
Yeah, no, I think it's about that time. You see, you've done this before. You have the timing down.
It's a pretty solid beer, guys. I mean, if you can find this beer, granted it's a limited release, but it's yearly. So if you can't find it this year, look for it next year. If you have the fortune of having a friend that comes down there and gets it for you guys, thanks, Jane. This beer is phenomenal. For those folks that want to approach this style, Russian Imperial Stout, I think it's a very approachable Russian Imperial Stout, especially being aged in bourbon oak barrels, because it's got thinner viscosity, doesn't smell too smoky, and it's a very approachable beer.
It doesn't burn. It doesn't have the alcohol burn you get from bourbon beers.
It's a great beer.
Yeah, so I mean, and especially like if you have certain regional beers that you can get that other people can't, certainly look up a trade. For sure.
This would be worth trading. Maybe like some Black Butte trade for this. Or
Darkness, Three Floyds. Like,
yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and finish these up, and then we'll come back and we'll do a little bit of old Rasputin 12.
So we enjoyed the previous beer.
Oh, very much so.
Great beer.
We took our time. But we got to move on. We got more to drink.
There are things to do, people. So
Let's check out this one.
But yeah, bust open that cage and that cork.
Right. So as we said, old Rasputin 12. You guys haven't had this yet.
No.
I had this over at Punchers. Shut up! With the gents.
Shut up! Does it just get higher and higher?
Shut up!
I think that's gonna shatter pretty soon here.
And so they were selling this at the bar for $20.
It's pretty
Bottle or on cask?
On bottle.
Okay.
Which in the store it's at least 20.
That's what I saw.
So you're getting a better deal at the bar.
Yeah, you're getting a better deal at the bar.
That's what Quenchers is great for that. If you're a local Chicago drinker, you can get like the larger bottles for basically what you're going to pay for them at the liquor store. Like bomber bottles are really cheap there and shit like that. So
over here on Western
and Fullerton.
Is that Logan or is that Bucktown?
That's Logan.
Okay. Excellent. Check them out, man. But they had this. They probably don't have this anymore. It's gone. So sorry. But we got one.
What's up? You cannot have this. You cannot have this.
I have a chair. I have a chair. Okay. I killed that one.
So this comes in at 11.2, and I was looking online, and the Old Rasputin 11 was 75 IBUs.
Okay, so
it's probably close to that too. So
Okay.
pretty big malt body, but good hoppy.
maybe that's why I loved it so much.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay.
So we should get to pouring.
Let's go ahead and pour that shit.
How come one beer always gives us more head than the other? Like, what's the deal here? Like,
I mean, it depends on certain factors, really. I mean, like I'm assuming maybe this is a more hoppy Imperial Stout.
Slovak brewer, help us out here.
it's just odd. One always seems to pour out.
And also,
with so much head.
Also, your yeast strain will have a lot to do with
Most definitely.
the head. So I think it's just like a combination of those two. I think it smells hoppier than the previous. Like,
well, the lacing is a lot, like, more heavy. Or
it's a pretty thick beer for
There's
sure.
champagne bubbles on the side.
Yeah, I mean it's got a pretty fluffy head that stuck around for a while, especially for a beer of this ABV. I mean, this was upwards of 11%, correct?
Yeah.
So that's
Typically very still and not a lot of carbonation, and this is definitely got the carbonation because that head is just hanging out. It's not going away.
I'm not sure what kind of yeast strain they use, but I mean, I think that would probably be in this beer specifically probably the main factor in
the head retention.
Yeah. But I mean, super chocolatey in the nose, I think.
Oh yeah.
It's very sweet chocolate too. It doesn't taste too chalky. Or
No,
doesn't smell
no.
too chalky.
But it does have that alcohol burn.
Yep.
It's tickling the nose.
And also, like, if you really search for it, there's kind of a nice hop bite in there too, which kind of gets lost in a lot of stouts, even more specifically the Russian Imperial stouts. People just normally, I don't know if they just don't look for it. If you know,
I think the sweetness usually cuts the
Yeah.
hops so much.
Reminds me a lot of a barley wine. I mean, take me if I'm wrong here, but like the hoppy nose on there, it smells a lot like a barley wine because it's sweet and kind of like aged hops a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I totally agree. There aren't many stouts I've ever had that really have any hop character at all to them because they're so thick with that potent roasted nose of chocolate or coffee, and this is very, very pleasant. I actually kind of wish I had more.
And you haven't even tasted it
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
And speaking of which, let's go ahead for it. Wow. Okay.
Alright, I've had this. I love it. I'm not gonna lie, I love it.
I mean, that lacing is just character right there in of itself.
It's
So delicious.
part of me wants to say that it's like a fairly thick beer, but the other part of me wants to say that it's really light on the tongue. Like I think the effervescence of it, like kind of like it's just almost like a cloud in your mouth, where it kind of billows away like that. But it's like extremely flavorful, a lot of bitter chocolate notes.
Chocolate, coffee, a little bit of caramel, but that very fluffy, almost hoppy body on the tongue keeps it from feeling thick.
Right,
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'm trying to say.
It's an amazing beer.
just tingles the mouth, I guess is a good way to say it too. Like, the carbonation, you can see it here in the glass, and then it's just kind of
Mhm.
sitting on your tongue and like washing it all away.
And like as far as flavor goes, I think it's like the coffee is crazy on it. Like, and it's like bitter chocolate and coffee, and then you get this. I think a lot of times if you get a bourbon barrel aged beer, sometimes that becomes the forefront flavor. This one, it's kind of just like kind of laying there behind all of the beer flavors, which is kind of refreshing and nice.
I feel kind of like a caramel toffee hanging out in there, like you dip a toffee into the coffee there, because it's got that really sweet, sugary nose. You taste it, and I definitely taste the coffee. It's right in there in the mouth, but it's not so overpowering that it feels bland and bitter.
But I'm not getting hops. If this is upwards of 70, I'm not getting as much in the taste. Like that coffee and chocolate just are overpowering that.
I get it, but like it's for sure like the coffee and the chocolate are dominating. But I do in the back, like in the finish, I do get like a little bit of a hot bite. But it's a different bite than you would get from like the typical venue in which you would assume that you're gonna get
Oh, definitely. A hoppy
beer.
Yes.
It's not like an IPA hop or like a nice pale ale
Okay.
hop. It's like, it tastes different than that, and I guess I'm having a hard time describing it.
My tongue is confused. The fact that this beer is such a dark spectrum beer, you never expect to have this much hop nose or even hop flavor in a beer of this character. Dark, viscous, thick. I've never had a hoppy beer that's of the stout style. Never.
Maybe
Okay.
I'm confusing the coffee with the hop, I guess, because I drink black coffee. So I like that black coffee bitter taste, and maybe it's coming through with the hop bite and the coffee.
I think there's certainly a distinction there. Sometimes it might be hard to discern, but a beer that we actually have here today that we picked up on a growler over at Goose Island is their Liquid Inspiration Stout,
Most definitely.
and that's a pretty hoppy American stout. And so maybe we can taste that later on, but like just for an example of something that's like really dark and stouty, but also very hoppy.
Okay.
So this is far from that as far as the hop goes. It has a nice assertive hop flavor, but it's for me personally, it's not one of the stouts that I've had that's like has the most hops that I've had. So like I don't know, it's just weird sometimes like that. I remember the first time I had a stout like that, I was like, wow, this is totally weird. It's just like this is unlike anything I've ever had before because it's really hoppy, but it's like
Borderline not beer
Yeah.
threshold. It's something else entirely.
it's just bizarre when you first have it for sure.
Sometimes you want to keep your hot beers away from your stout beers. Like, I don't want
No.
the perfect drink because then
I might
else
get
am I
laid
gonna
off.
drink? That's all I can have, I guess. That's it.
It would be interesting to try this beer again. If I could keep my hands off it in a year or two, because I wonder if this hoppy character would kind of disintegrate.
I think it would.
And I personally like it now younger, as it was made a few months ago here. I don't know. I've had a couple aged Imperial IPAs where the hops really, really broke down. Didn't taste that great. So this beer now, I think, honestly, even though it probably has the alcohol to cellar for a while, personally, I'm loving it now. It's
Right.
really good stuff.
I guess if you're a hop fan, go for it now. But if you want that bourbon to come out later, maybe
A
wait
little bit
for
more
it.
smooth, mellow characters.
Or buy two.
Yeah. You know,
Later.
you know what my favorite thing is to do is I like the process of aging beers, and I like the idea of it, and I like what just being rewarded with it. I think, but like I also like new and fresh beers. So what I usually do is take an old and take a new, and I blend them together. You kind of get the best of both worlds. You take a little sip of new, take a little sip of old, take a little sip of blended.
Ken's a lambic beer maker, by the way.
Exactly. I'm making
Master lambic maker right there. That's a brilliant idea. I mean, I don't know if I have the patience or have the cellar depth to do that, but that would be spectacular to have an old Rasputin now and then 3 years, and then have them both side by side and pitch them together.
Yeah.
And that'd be spectacular.
It's great. And sometimes you can, especially here in Chicago at notably Delilah's. They have some vintage beer tastings where you can go there and you can try the Sierra Nevada Bigfoot barley wine
Of several years back.
Oh yeah, back from '98 all the way up to 2009.
And then
So
they did just a Christmas one too.
yeah,
So
and so you can do all Christmas beers from all these different vintages. So if you can go to a festival like that and just be like, hey, can you give me a little bit of this and a little bit of that, put it in one glass, that's a great venue to try and do some beer blending.
my celery now is, if I don't drink it, it gets cellared. That seems to
So
be what's happening.
if you like it, does it not get cellared then?
I don't know, it depends on how many I buy. Like,
I have a hard time keeping my hands off the beers I like because they're so good.
See, that's my problem too.
You put them off for a month or two, and you're like, it's been cellared long enough. Let's have some more beer.
But like we bought the Dark Lords, and it's like I can't drink all those by myself. So they're just sitting there like, well, who wants to open one? Kind of thing.
Well, Beer never had five different vintages in a row there.
Yeah.
See, I burned through them too quick, man. You guys are engaged. I'm single. I just like.
Give me some beer.
Exactly. It doesn't matter what time of day or what day of the week it is.
I envy you, sir. I envy you. Pretty solid.
Well, I'll tell you what. These were like, I mean, I couldn't have asked for anything better.
Both great, both different.
Yeah.
And kind of out of season, quite frankly, but
Right.
still spectacular. It's got to be a good 75 degrees outside right now and very humid. And I would think these beers should be in the middle of the winter.
Right.
But right now, in the midst of August,
Sometimes good beer is just good beer.
I don't care
You
when
gotta-
it is, yeah.
And so we figured we're having as a special guest. We had Sean on. We were like,
Yes.
we
We
just gotta
gotta
like,
bring out the stouts.
we gotta up it, you know.
He's
So-
got the Furious. What are we gonna bring?
So Sean, it was really great having you on. We're
Thank you,
glad you
sir.
could come out to Chicago and be
Thanks,
on the show. Once again, check out the Beer Genome Project and follow Sean and Mike on Twitter.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'm Sean BGP, so you can follow me up on the web as well. So, shut up!
You're coming
Shut
along.
up.
Show myself up, right? Yeah.
You just retweeted yourself.
What can I say? What can I say?
And thanks to you guys for watching once again. Check out these beautiful, beautiful Russian Imperial Stouts if you can get your hands on them. I know it's kind of tough, but cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching.